Hey everybody, I really do hope you love listening to The Meg and James Show. Did you know that you can actually get paid just for listening to this podcast? I know it sounds insane, but it's true. We just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. So here's how it works. You listen to podcasts and you earn Podcoin while you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin in for gift cards at places like Amazon or Starbucks. Or if you're a good, generous person, you can even donate that Podcoin to charity. The more you listen, the more you earn. So here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or Android, and I have a special code for you. Simply use our code, Megan James, and you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up. And if you listen to enough of us on here, then you can get a cappuccino at Starbucks or an Amazon gift card on us. So go ahead and go listen to this podcast or virtually any podcast on Podcoin and sign up with the code Megan James. I swear it'll change the way you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening, guys. And here's our show. What's up, guys? This is Megan James. I'm coming at you live from the Megan James Show. What's going on? I hope this is working out to be an amazing day for you guys. But if it's not, I've got some great content coming up for you next. And today I'm actually really excited about this topic because it's a huge issue facing America, and the answers actually lies in our hands. It's crazy how that works. You know, our biggest problems, we actually possess the answers to. So today, what I'm actually going to talk about is the debt crisis in America, right? And we all know that the news is saying that millennials make up a majority of the debt due to student loans. Okay. I accept that. I know there's trillions and trillions of dollars in debt right now. But let's talk about the job market, right? So as millennials, we went to school thinking that we'd have jobs waiting for us on the other side. However, we all know that to not always be the case. And in this case, the U.S. job growth in 2018 and early 2019 was actually much weaker than previously thought. You don't believe me? Check it on LinkedIn. It just came out today. Official payroll figures between March 2018 and March 2019 are expected to be revised down by 501,000 jobs. That was based on a regular review by the Bureau of Labor Statistics in light of the state of unemployment insurance records. This down adjustment, which is not final, is the actual biggest since 2009. So we've been told, unemployment, is low and the job market is strong. But it looks like somebody made a miscalculation, which I completely agree, because we go to college to get these jobs. We get out into the real world after getting our degrees, and they say, you can't have this job until you have experience. But you can't get the experience because you have to have experience to get the experience that you need to get your job. And it's an endless cycle of that. So we are looking at trillions and trillions of dollars in student loans because we were basically lied to. We accept responsibility for some of us, like me, who majored in a degree that wasn't going to be something that we could get a job in. I enjoyed my major. I don't regret it. I actually had a really good time, and I think I learned a lot. I didn't end up using it, so it was a waste, sure, but I admire what I learned from getting that degree. So a question is, people begin to ask is, why are so many people winding up in these jobs that they regret, even when they're faced with good alternatives? And there was actually a study just done by the Harvard Business Review, and it says that many people choose jobs based on the salary alone, even if it's not particularly correlated to their job satisfaction. And others are actually too good at tolerating bad jobs, and that's due to their lack of self-awareness, or they're even misled about the nature of the role. Been there, done that, got that t-shirt, wore it out. So instead, be clear about your skills and your goals and spend less time tolerating bad jobs and bad bosses. In other words, get the fuck out there, and if you don't like your job, you'll know. Your gut instinct will tell you to leave this job. Don't ignore that instinct. That instinct is telling you to get the fuck out so your body won't suffer, because what happens when we're stuck inside these jobs that aren't good for us, we start showing them in physical ailments, and some can lead to, I believe, this is my personal opinion, I haven't looked at the research, but I believe that when you're stuck with a soul-sucking job that is terrible fit for you, you actually can end up with ailments as severe as cancer. So, I promised you guys there was a solution today, right? So we're looking at these millennials who are in a terrible working environment. They don't like their jobs, and right now, some workers are actually going back to the bottom of the job ladder to fulfill their career ambitions. So they're calling these mentornships, where mid-career employees leave their jobs to take internships, and it's often in other industries. And that's just in order to get a new skill. So many workers in the millennial generation are so dissatisfied with their jobs that they're actually looking for a change, and they're willing to work these internships, which can provide an opportunity to relaunch their careers in a new field. So we're taking pay cuts and going and doing these internships just at the hope of getting a better job than what we've got. So some people are making a positive change. Some people aren't staying in these soul-sucking jobs, but we still have to look at those who are. Job growth isn't getting any better. We're very, very close to the recession. In case you guys haven't been paying attention, the Dow was down by the most it's been since 2009. Job market is down since the lowest it's been since 2009. And we're looking at the very beginning of a recession. And that's not to scare you, but that is to prepare you. I want you to pursue your dreams. I want you to go after what it is that, like I always say, sets your soul on fire. But I want you to be smart about that. And by that I mean, can you support your family? Can you support yourself during a recession? Can you support yourself and your family during a hard economic time set? This dream that you have, is it feasible to continue during a bad economy? If it's not, that isn't to say you have to give up on it, but you may have to take on some side hustles. And I think a majority of what millennials are dealing with right now is we're all bitching and pissing and moaning about our student loan debt and our other debt and all this other crap that's going on. We don't like our jobs. We can't do anything fun because we're so busy paying off our debt with the minuscule salaries that we're making. And that's all we can think about. We're thinking with a lack mentality. I understand, especially when you have families to feed. This fucking sucks. And to have somebody stand up on stage and say, oh, well, the economy is the best it's ever been, and the best in the world, and the best in the world. And you want to be like, no, it's not, because I'm fucking dealing with shit, and I know I'm not the only one. Sadly, while we are dealing with a lot of shit, there's a lot more we can be doing to make our situation better that we're not always as open to, because we're still so stuck in that mindset that we have it worse than anyone. Not saying we're self-centered, but we're also feeling entitled too. We put in a certain amount of time at a job, it could be a year, could be 2 years, and we suddenly think that we're owed something, that we're owed a bonus, we're owed a promotion, we're owed a new title change, or whatever the case is. We get that mindset of, well, I've been here this long, I'm loyal. Where's my pay? Where's this? Where's that? And that's truly not working for us at all. And I want to come at you today and talk about some things we can be doing, making some positive changes in our lives that maybe we weren't as open to before. So I know some of my friends actually, and I have too over the years, have joined multi-level network marketing companies. But a lot of people have hesitated to join things like this because they said, well, what will my family say if this fails? What will so-and-so say if this fails? Motherfucker. If those people aren't paying bills in your life, they don't have a right to the conversation. They don't deal with the results. It's your life. And at the end of your life, you're going to have to answer to that. I believe that life is the hardest exam you'll take. And so many people spend so much time trying to cheat off of other people's exams because they don't realize those other people have exams that are different from yours. They have different test sheets. They have different questions on their tests than you do. You can take what you learn from some people and implement that into your own life, but don't cheat off their entire test or you're going to end up with a fucked up result. There are other things we can do right now. If you're actually in a shitty job, you can leave. You can leave and go do something else, even if it requires you to take a pay cut. Now, I know some of us are so strapped in debt that we can't afford to take a pay cut. Don't lose hope. If you're willing to look at another field, sometimes you can find a job with better pay, doing something more enjoyable in a completely different field. Don't be afraid to switch it up. So many of us are willing to stay in a job that we hate, miserable in our lives, because we're scared to make that change. Guys, I promise you that staying in a job you despise for the rest of your life is going to be so much worse than making that change to that other parallel job. All right, not a big deal. What I want to talk about today is something that I have the largest passion for. I'm so excited about, and I think if you guys try it, I think you'll be pretty excited about it too. As a kid, I'll start with my background. As a kid, when I was, 7, 6, 8 years old, in that range, I actually would ride with my parents to the flea market and find the stuff that I liked. So that may be, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, airsoft guns, knives. I was that kid. I was big on those things, G.I. Joes. And I would come back home and I found that my friends liked the same stuff I did, liked it so much that they would ask me, where did you get this? Well, how much can I give you money to go get it? And I realized at a very young age that there was a market in this. So I also realized that we were 20 minutes from the Georgia state line where we lived in North Carolina. So I'd ride with my parents to the better flea market, the larger flea market in Dillard, Georgia, that is huge. And I would stock up on things like airsoft guns and knives and G.I. Joes and all this stuff. And because I knew how to negotiate at a very young age, no one taught me that. It was just something I learned. I negotiated the prices down. So I would buy in bulk. So these flea market guys were making money. I was getting a great deal. And in many cases, I was buying 3 airsoft guns for the price of 1. I would go home and sell one of those airsoft guns for the price of what the whole thing cost me. So I'd upsell it. And I would make it back every single time. So I learned very early on that this was actually a very responsible way to make money. When I was 8, my bank account was sitting at probably like $800. When I was 12, I had a checking account, I had about $1,000, It was growing steadily at a young age. And I kind of stayed with this my whole life, this hustle mentality. And so many people didn't have that opportunity. I had 2 entrepreneur parents. They had both had full-time jobs before, but they were entrepreneurs. They never got rid of their self-employment, of their side businesses that were actually supporting them full-time. My dad painted houses. My mom was a bookkeeper accountant, and they still are. My dad had to give up his painting business, unfortunately, when he got cancer. But he's doing great. He's got an awesome attitude, great mentality, and he spends his time helping others. So he's still getting into stuff, still active. And my mom still does bookkeeping and accounting and everything like that. But I've learned from them of when you do what you love, you never really work a day in your life. And to me, that's just, you can't put a price tag on that. You can't put a salary on that. Because when you enjoy what you're doing, there's nothing greater in this world. And so I forgot about that. As I started to grow and mature, 17, 18, I started taking jobs I hated. I started working for people I didn't like, doing things I couldn't stand, that bored me, I couldn't find any growth in, and I wasn't having a good time. Also because I was told that I had to go to college like everyone else, go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a good job with benefits, and you've made it. I'm sure everybody heard that same spiel because back in the day, pension plans were big. That was how people retired with, 3 times their salary. They were able to really make it work. But nowadays, pension plans are gone. Retirement plans are shot. Retirement is tied up in 401ks and 457s, and we all know that the market can be stable, unstable, and it just depends on where it comes down at in your time of employment. If you're your last 3 years in and the market tanks, depending on how your retirement is set up, that can fuck you. And you might end up back at Walmart as a door greeter, or you might not be able to retire that year, which means you'll have to be paying more in taxes in other accounts. So there's things that we have to consider all the way around. But one thing that has always been a great way to make money is flipping. Flipping is a concept of taking something used, something that was used by someone else that no longer wanted it, and they either gave it to you or you picked it up at a low price or something like that. You have made it better. You've added value to this object or thing or entity. You've made it better. you've repurposed it and resold it for a much higher price than what you paid for it. That is flipping. And you can do that with houses, real estate, commercial real estate, objects, sports memorabilia, clothes, services. I mean, you can do it with all kinds of stuff. You can actually buy businesses and resell them. You can flip them and resell them. And people will pay you a ton of money to come flip their business for them so they don't have to declare bankruptcy. There's all different kinds of things like this. And one thing I feel that is important to really hone in on is this is not a hobby. It can start out as a hobby until you figure out what the fuck you're doing, but it doesn't need to stay a hobby. This needs to be an actual job. You need to look at this as an actual business where you track expenses, you track your reports, you track your assets, your liabilities. If you have insurance on anything, you're keeping track of mileage. This is an actual business from the jump. The IRS, I think, gives you 3 years to make it a legitimate business before they declare it a hobby, which means you have to be in the black. At some point, they'll allow you to take losses your first 2 years. But I think your third year, you have to have black on the paper. So, from the jump, I want you to take it serious. But here's what I've learned. I can only flip things that I'm interested in. I've tried multi-level marketing companies, and there's nothing wrong with them. Plenty of people have done very well with them. The problem didn't lie in the business. It's proven that it's a very great business platform. It was lying within me. I'm not good at flipping a product I don't believe in because it mismatches with my purpose, with my goals, with my core beliefs, my core values. And when you have a mismatch there, you have a failure. And it may not happen immediately, it may happen on down the line, but when you have a mismatch within your core system and your external output, something is going to fall. The ball is going to be dropped. It differs in how it's dropped. It differs in how it falls apart, but at one point it will. So you have to flip things that you care about, things that you're interested in. If you really enjoy riding motorcycles or if you really enjoy sports cars and things like that and you can afford to flip that, do it. Do it. And there's plenty of people that have that ability, but they just don't feel confident enough, maybe in their abilities, maybe, I don't know. But they don't understand that they do have that ability and they're not willing to chase after that. But it's something we overlook. And if we really hone in and we really take time to focus on ourselves and we choose that which actually interests us, we'll find along the way that we can make money at it. So I love sports cards. I love, playing cards like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. I like all kinds of low-key nerdy shit, but I understand it. I understand that platform. I understand that I'm not the only one that finds interest in those subjects. So by me taking the time to really look up at the value, as a collector, you may be collecting for value or you may be collecting for, sentimental purposes. So as a collector, we learn and we grow to collect that which we love, right? On some scale, it may be because we think it'll be worth money one day, or it may just be because we like it. I've learned that I'm most successful in flipping the things that I'm interested in. Whether I think I'm going to make money at them or not, to begin with, it turns out later in life, the things that I started out that I was very interested in are actually worth a lot. Everything from Legos to basketball cars to, just all kinds of weird shit. I've even found, certain types of china to be worth a lot. So if you're willing to take your old Nerf guns and flip them and sell them, there's always money. Thomas the Trains, there's always money. G.I. Joe's, money. Star Wars, money. But you have to find the right niche. Because you might go out and buy an action figure, a Star Wars action figure for $8 and it's not worth $10 on eBay. You may take a loss. But even if you can buy it at $8 and sell it for $9 and make the actual buyer pay shipping, you're going to be better off because you just made $1, right? We want to have bigger flipping than that, but it's not going to be as simple as making, just starting out and making $1,000 in your first week unless you have a whole lot of money to invest in a whole lot of products. So start small. Don't worry about getting on things like Alibaba to buy in wholesale first thing. Start flipping things small. Go to Goodwill, go to yard sales, go to Craigslist and look at the free section. That shit that says free, you're going to make money off those people's laziness, because most of the time, even if it's scrap metal, you can haul that shit off and get paid for that. These people don't want to do the hard stuff. They just want it gone. And you can't judge them for it. You can't pass judgment on them for that. You know, plenty of us have done it too. But if you're a hard worker and you're serious about getting out of debt and you have fucking $17,000 in credit card debt, I'm throwing out random figures, but say you have $17,000 in credit card debt. If you are fucking serious about paying that debt off so you can have kids and do the things you love, then you need to go ahead and get a personal loan from your bank and consolidate all those credit cards into that personal loan so long as it has a good interest rate. And then tell them you want to put it on a 36-month plan. That means you're going to be paying like $600, $700 a month. It's going to be a fucking big deal. And if you can swing it, do it. Get that shit paid off in 36 months because you're going to save thousands of dollars if you'd waited to like 48 months. So consider all ways that you can possibly pay off that debt. And then if you can't find a better job than what you've got now, take a second job working nights, doing evenings on certain days off, or, maybe on your Friday you go and work 6 hours evening shift, come home. And then the next Saturday and Sunday you work maybe 12-hour shifts for these people. I don't know, but you're working part-time, making money. You can do that. That's an option available to you. I can't recommend or not recommend it. It's worked for some people, but for me, I learned that trading my time, my hours for $1 has not panned out well for me. I am not going to get rich doing that. I'm not going to be able to pay off my debt in a reasonable time span. So what I've learned is that I can make money work for me. And by that, I mean, I go and I'm looking at right now, for those of you who can't see, I'm looking at a NASCAR sealed Dale Earnhardt Jr. Budweiser car, Richmond race. It's his die-cast model car. It came in this case. It's never been opened, still sealed. I'm holding it up for the camera so everybody can see. I picked that up for $1 at the Goodwill. No shit. $1. Stock car. And I'm going to take good, really nice, high quality photos of this car today, post it to eBay, and while I'm at work or somewhere else, everything I've posted to eBay on my days off is selling. I'm getting offer after offer after offer. And I can accept it or I can deny it. The power is mine. And then when I come home, it's already in its shipping container or whatever the case is. I just take it to the post office. They have a drop box. Drop it in the box and I go. I don't have to wait in line. I can go after hours. It doesn't matter. So that's something to consider. If you don't like eBay because you're scared of shipping, one thing I can refer you to is I actually went to Udemy and took an online course for $10. It's $10 or $12. I can't remember. I'll actually put that link in this podcast and in this video. So you guys can go look at the link to the course I took. But they're basically a shit ton of eBay hacks. How to link your listings to one another. How to take high quality photos. A free app called Photo Fuse that will allow you to edit your photos to an all white background. So even if you're taking it with your cell phone, you don't have a high quality camera, you can still go to this app and edit your photos to make them have that high quality white background that buyers love. And you'll learn that people don't buy product. They buy photos. They buy pretty pictures. So if you can work the psychology of your buyer's mindset and have good captions, good descriptions, if you can elicit an emotional response in your postings, you're going to sell. Now, if your product is complete shit, it's broken, it's torn, it's whatever, yeah, you may not be able to sell that. But at the end of the day, say you spend $100 in sales, you're able to flip all those products for $300 and you're left with 2 or 3 items that you just couldn't sell. Donate that shit. I promise you, you're not losing out. You couldn't sell it. Donate it. And you'll get a feeling like, hey, I did something good for somebody, because somebody's probably going to want that. And they probably didn't have the money to buy it off eBay, but they can buy it from Goodwill for $1. And you just made somebody's day. It's simple stuff like this that we don't always consider, but it does make the biggest difference. And, I'm looking at another object I've got right now. I have a signed Yankees baseball. All right. It looks to me to be, I haven't looked it up. I just got it. And I didn't get it because I thought it was legit. I got it because I'm pretty sure it's a reprint, a replica. And you guys are probably like, oh, that's not worth shit. Well, I bought it for, a whopping $2. And I'm pretty sure I can get at least $20 for it on eBay. And had the seller pay the shipping. Another one, I have a Braves replica signed baseball. It's just a pretty sweet deal. I grew up in a family where all Braves fans, and living in North Carolina, that was the closest thing we had, really. So I grew up learning to cheer the Braves on. So deep down, I'm okay. If I can't sell that, I'm okay with keeping that on my shelf because it looks cool as shit. Another thing I learned is flipping sports cards. So I had a fuck ton of baseball cards from the 90s that I was just like, hell yeah, these are going to be worth a fortune when I get older. I'm totally going to hold on to these and sell them. And then you find out that all your favorite rookies from back in the day aren't worth shit today. They're worth 25 cents or something, and good luck selling them. And you're kind of heartbroken about that. And sometimes we take that loss, but you got to understand, I've held on to these since I was a kid. I can pass these on to my kid and they can play with them. They can tear them up or whatever. They're not worth shit. But it's me passing on something from my childhood to my children that means something. So even if I can't sell these things, I can pass them on to others. It's okay. And maybe you spend $60 on 9,000 basketball cards from the 90s to early 2000s. You've made a great purchase, because guarantee you're going to have at least one card worth probably $1,000. In my case, that's what I had. I purchased between 9,000 and 15,000 sports cards yesterday for $120. I've already found 3 cards worth in excess of $1,200 each. So when I tell you guys that it's not a difficult thing to do, people are always selling stuff on Craigslist, on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace. That's a gold mine. Hell, they're giving it away. Find these people, buy their shit for a reasonable price, a very small price. It's getting it out of their house, so they're happy. And you're going to flip it and sell it online, which makes you happy. And just think, for those of you with that $17,000 credit card debt, you sell 3 cards worth in excess of $1,200. That's $3,600 that you can put towards that $17,000 in debt, which means you're going to make that payoff time much faster. You're not going to have to pay 36 months on that. Hell, you're taking off, 7 months roughly of that 36-month payoff cycle. So you're looking at 29 months? In the grand scheme of things, that's a big fucking deal. I don't know if you guys get that, but that's a huge deal. You just flip that from 3 years to right at 2 and some change. And it's not hard to do these things. But I think we've lost track of reputable businesses, and eBay business can be a very reputable business. There are people who've made their millions off of this. Estate sales done by families are a huge asset. I picked up a 25-cent butter stamp that sells for $60 on eBay. I'm serious. You can sell anything. You can sell fucking markers. But you have to, 1, be knowledgeable about it and do your research. 2, be willing to pay the money for shipping supplies and really research how shipping works. eBay makes it easier for me because it kind of gives me a rough estimate and factors in everything. I buy my shipping products, I weigh it at home, type that in, and it tells me everything I need to know. Easy as can be. And I can either include it as free shipping where I pay the shipping and the seller pays for the object. I just kind of include it in the price. Or I have them pay it. People are more likely to buy something that says free shipping. Don't ask me why. And subconsciously, I know that they know that I included the shipping cost into the overall price. But they don't give a fuck. They're just like, free shipping? What? Yeah. So, I mean, these are all things to consider. I'll put that class on there. It tells you more about this stuff. But at the end of the day, my message for you right now is to quit bitching about the life you're living, because your actions, your inactions, your decisions, the people you associate with, and the people whose opinions you've been taking up until this point are what got you here. So if you want to change, you got to start by changing it. It is what it is. You know, truth be told, that's what it comes down to. It's hard. It's really fucking hard, but you got to do it. So with that, you know, get shit done, get out there, find something that you can do, whether it's you're selling supplements for a multi-level marketing company, you're flipping things, you know, don't jump straight into real estate. It sounds sexy, but it's not always sexy. Start small, 50-cent items, start flipping them on eBay, and then eventually you're going to find yourself in a wholesale environment. Start small and move into a larger environment. So just a few suggestions to help alleviate some of the burden that we're dealing with today. I hope they help you. Please, if you guys want more tips, more advice, I'm not a pro. I'm not some specialist. I've just found success in this realm, and I might be able to help you guys find some too. So if you have any questions, please hit me up. I'd love to help you if I can. But with that, guys, I'm out. Have a wonderful rest of your week.